What's up, y'all? Welcome to Flames Reaction Channel. Now, today's video, I'm getting ready to react 50 Cent. So, with that being said, make sure you hit that like, comment, and that subscribe button. And with that being said, y'all, let's go ahead and dig into this video and check out 50 Cent and some of the greatest hip hop moments.
Before 50 Cent would drop the birthday anthem into Club and his debut album Get Rich or Die Tryin', before he would feud with Ja Rule, The Game, Rick Ross, and pick a fight with the industry as a whole with his early track How to Rob, before he dated Vivica Fox, Chelsea Handler, and Ciara, before he was the second next to Jay-Z on the 2007 Hip Hop Cash Kings list, but then filed for bankruptcy in 2015, leaving everyone to be like, 50, you just play it. Curtis Jackson had taken to selling drugs on the street as young as 12 years old. People knew him as Boo Boo. Now, he may have learned these tricks from his mother, who had him at 15. She was also a drug dealer, but sadly, she lost her life when Curtis was only 8. After avoiding prison and instead sent to a military boot camp, this is when 50 decided he would make it as a rapper, and he met up with Run DMC's Jam Master Jay, and they got it done. Oh yeah, and there was also that 2000 shooting where 50 got 9 bullets put into his body, including one in his face. My name's Michael Cretton, documenting the life of 50 Cent prior to fame, here for you and before they're famous. Now, a whole bunch of you guys requested this one. I read all the comments, guys, so be sure to let me know who you want me to document next. Curtis James Jackson III was born in Queens, New York on July 6, 1975, and was raised by a single mother, a crack dealer, who left him with his grandparents to raise him while she took to the streets. Whenever she would show up to meet with her son, well, she would shower him in gifts because she had a very lucrative career. Sadly, it ended up costing her her life. She was poisoned and she died when Curtis was only 8. Young Curtis began boxing at the age of 11, a skill set that would come in handy because he started selling drugs for himself at the age of 12. He would hang out on street corners with people in their late teens, and they all referred to him as Boo Boo. At this time, he was telling his grandparents while he was at after-school classes. His secret came to an end when he got caught by a metal detector at Jackson Andrew High School when he was in the 10th grade. He was carrying a weapon. The cops also found on him drugs. Now, this resulted in him having to go to rehab. He says he's never used the drugs himself, but he played the part to get through the process. As soon as he got out, he was back on the streets. Now, he was skilled at boxing, but he had also got his hands on a weapon, so he was a pretty dominant force on the streets. He was doing so well, he was bringing in as much as $5,000 a day. Doesn't seem like you went back to school. You're making that kind of money. Do you really need to go back? Yeah, you should always go back. But I don't think 50 did. At 17, he was arrested for selling 4 vials of cocaine to an undercover police officer. Then he was arrested again just 3 weeks later when police searched his home and found heroin, 10 ounces of crack cocaine, and a starting pistol. Things were looking good for young 50 Cent at this time. He could have served anywhere from 3 to 9 years behind prison bars. Instead, due to his age, they decided to put him in shock incarceration, like a military boot camp, and there he ended up getting his GED. So that's the positive. Following this, Curtis came back home and returned to selling drugs. It's all he knew. But he realized he had to figure out something else for the future. He knew in his heart that he had lived through enough that he would be able to tell a few stories as a rapper, and he decided that's what his new career would be. He bumped into Jam Master Jay at a nightclub, and he bragged that he was going to be the biggest name in rap. Jam Master Jay bought the story, plus 50 Cent. He had a parole officer he had to report back to about his future career, so it all worked out real nicely. Jam Master Jay invited Curtis to the studio where he would just spit out a ton of lyrics and was missing his hook. Jay put Curtis through rap school, teaching him how to count bars, write choruses, structure songs, and make records, and then they signed him to their label. Around this time, Curtis, well, he had to come up with a moniker for his stage name as a rapper, and he decided to go with 50 Cent. Now, this is a name he borrowed from a Brooklyn stick-up artist who had died in 1987. There are a few different stories about this guy and how he came up with the name 50 Cent. Some people say he would rob anybody no matter how much money they were carrying, like even 50 cents. Others say it's because of his short stature, he was like half a full person. Others say he turned 50 cents into $500 in a game of dice. Your guess is as good as mine. Now, around this time, the 50 Cent we know and love, well, he had his son Marquis and was eager to make the rap game work. Now, there were 2 years where very little happened in his career. Then one day, outside a barber shop, he bumped into an executive from Columbia Records, and 50 pushed his demo tape on him, told him, listen to this in your car right now. Columbia Records liked what they were hearing, and they sent him to an upstate New York studio, where he produced 36 songs in 2 weeks for the album Power of the Dog. Another 2 years would pass, and 50 Cent, well, he had a family to feed, and he was back on the street selling drugs, and he was a little restless. So he decided to put together his own track titled How to Rob, and he would point aim at all the successful rappers at the time, and he stirred up a lot of controversy. Jay-Z actually replied in one of his songs.
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
On top of this, there was more personal and physical beef brewing between 50 and Ja Rule. Soon after this, there was the shooting outside of 50 Cent's grandmother's house where 9 bullets would enter his body shot at close range, one of them in his face, and that's when he was rushed to the hospital. Now, 50 has long maintained that Daryl Homo Baum was the man who shot him, and that guy with the nickname Homo, well, he was found dead 3 weeks later. 50 spent 13 days in the hospital and he used a walker for 6 weeks. Finally, he made a full recovery. He actually got himself into better shape than before. Well, he had a few people after him, so he might need to. But then he got more bad news. In Columbia, they decided to drop him. Now, this time, he seemed really down on his luck. He even had to leave the country to record new music, and he came to Canada, where he recorded 30 songs for mixtapes. He then dropped his mixtape, Guess Who's Back, in 2002, and this one made its way to Eminem. Eminem then flew 50 Cent to Los Angeles to meet with him and Dr. Dre, and they signed him for a $1 million deal.
Homie, I'm a fan, and I started putting out songs and lyrics, kind of on some fan. He was like, yo, I'm telling you, this is it. I was kind of wondering, like, does this guy like me?
Then 50 Cent dropped No Mercy, No Fear, and finally, Get Rich or Die Trying. And the rest of the story, well, you know the story. This is before they're famous. My name is Michael Credden. I do all sorts of celebrity bios on here.
All right, y'all. That's it for this video, and I'm out. Peace.